Wherever it might be. My name is Sean, and I'm delighted you're joining us for today's ESPC community webinar. Today, I'm joined by Peter Paul Kirchner, MVP, who will cover Don't Fear the Next Deployment of your SPFx project. We love hearing guys have to say, so remember to join in the conversation about today's webinar and more on X. Our handle is at ESPC_community and our hashtag is hashtag ESPC25. Tweet us, tag us, and tell us what you learned. Don't forget to check out our Learning Hub, which updates the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars, and how-to videos. You can access and view the Learning Hub by visiting our website, sharepointeurope.com, and clicking Content tab at the top. Don't let the learning stop here. Continue to keep up and stay ahead for our next webinar. Succeeding with SPFx, building reusable components that scale across your enterprise with Nello Dandra, MVP. This webinar will take place tomorrow, Thursday, October 23rd at 11 a.m. For more information on this webinar, please check out www.sharepointeurope.com/SharePoint Week. Celebrate SharePoint Week with an exclusive ESPC offer. In honor of SharePoint Week, we're thrilled to unveil a special limited time promotion for ESPC. The first 10 new bookings will receive an extra €500 discount on top of the current late bird ticket price. Simply use the code SharePoint Week Special at checkout. This exclusive offer is our way of celebrating the SharePoint community's continued innovation, collaboration, and impact across the Microsoft ecosystem. Don't miss out. This promotion is valid only for new bookings made before October 31st or until all 10 discounted places are claimed. Secure your spot today and be part of Europe's premier Microsoft 365 AI and Azure conference taking place in Dublin this December. As always, if you have any questions at any stage, feel free to type it in the chat box and Peter will get to them during the webinar. This webinar will be recorded and added to Resource Center, where you'll be notified by email when it's available. And now I'm going to pass you over to today's webinar presenter, Peter. Hello, Peter. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, and nice to meet you here at the webinar. I hope we will see us next month, no, in 6 weeks, at the ESPC in Dublin. I'm really excited that we meet everybody together in person. So when you see me there, come give me a hug and say hello. I was at your webinar, so I hope I see
Great.
quite a lot of people there. So thank you, Sion.
No problem.
Um, let's go into our topic, deployment at SPFx. Short words about me. My name is Peter Paul Kirchner. I work as software architect at ACP Cubido. And what do I do? Yeah, I'm writing code for SPFx. In the meanwhile, M365 AI toolkits quite a lot. Power Platform is also a thing what I do, and I'm also make Azure solutions. So it's only a part what I do when I programming. I have no SharePoint in the background, but I have the M365 Graph API in the backend. So this is what I normally make. And what I like is Azure DevOps and GitHub, and in special CI/CD. Here are my contact information. Don't hesitate. Write me on X, LinkedIn. Stay in touch. And I'm a big fan of the PMP community. What is our agenda for today? Let's start with how to build and deploy an SPFX solution. Then we will take a look at the pipelines. I want to talk about the environment, what we have, test, prod, or whatever, and then about configuration and endpoints, because normally the things are made a little bit complicated, then a short sample and then Q&A. This was the agenda. When you have questions directly, please write it to the chat. Sian will interrupt me and say, hey, there's a question, and I can answer the question immediately. So let's start with the first basic. We are in a really good time to make this webinar, because currently the available version is of SPFX 1.21.1. So we have Node, we have Gulp, we have the domain generator here, and we have a good link from Microsoft how to set up our development environment. But now, currently, we will get SPFx 1.2022, and we have now the beta 3 release already available at NPM. And the big change is that we get rid of the gulp tasks, so and we get heft in the background. And I was thinking quite a lot of time, should I stay with 1.21? And then I said, hey, let's try it for the webinar. Let's use the beta directly because, hey, we are thinking about the future and not about the past. So let's start here. I prepared a little bit things. When you start with SPFX, the easiest way is you say, okay, you make a directory. mkdir, my live directory, and I can say with domain generator go at Microsoft slash SharePoint we want to create. This is how every manual starts to make an SPFX solution. So, but this will take some time. So I have prepared something. So let's go here. I would start with 1.21 only to be clear what we have currently here. I hope you can see my screen, and I will open the code again. So what we have currently is that we say, okay, when I have a solution made, I have here my web part. In the web part, I have here the description. I have the manifest of the web part, how it is called, and then I have only to do some things, and this is gulp serve, and it will spin up. This is 1.21. And I can go directly to my workbench and test it directly in my SPFX. Come on. It will take a short while. So let's go to our development environment. And as soon as this is finished, reload, perfect. Then I will reload it and I can test it my web part directly here. Basic web part. Here it is. It is the default web part what we have for SPFX scaffolding. So, but I said before, let's take a look to 122. So in 122, I have generated it also because I don't want to waste time to see the npm install. And the first thing what we see here is, let's start a new one, close this one, that to get a mess here. And the first of all, we see here our package file. And here is the big change that we have here npm tasks, and there are with heft and not with gulp. So we get rid of one of our dependencies. So when I see I have no serve, but I have a start here. So in future, we will make more or less npx or npm run start. And this is the only change what will be in the future. So let's build it. Come on. Do you know it? When you make it live on stage, it takes more time than before. But this is the demo effect.
Yeah, demo
And
gods.
it's every time the same. So let's try it. Let's refresh our page. Then let's add the local web part. And now we have 2022 already inside. So you see no big change in the future. So how do you ship this web part? So when you say, okay, I go to the documentation from the Microsoft and say this, okay, npm, I have here a package solution before I need a build. So it will be npm run build. Then we build the web part. And the next thing is, and I'm a big fan of copy and paste, npm run package solution. So, and here we have one interesting thing already. This is, it's not a production build. But what does this mean? It's not a production build. This meaning is the same what we had before with Gulp. Gulp without production or with ship parameter, it was that the package reference to our local host, and we don't ship our local host. So the better thing would be that we say, okay, have to build npx have build minus minus production. Then we get the production build. Oh, too much minus. And when it's correct, we should get it. And the next is that we have package solution. So, and this was it. And as soon we have done this, we get it in our SharePoint folder. We have here our package. The only thing what I have to do now is that I go to our app catalog and say app catalog. Okay, yes, let's use the new version and say here, upload, or with drag and drop, I can do this. But exactly in this moment, I have a problem. This is my development system, so I would not have a problem with my development system that I upload a solution. But when you think about productive, the first of all is I have the problem with, hey, what package version did I upload? I don't know it. Is the build also running on my colleagues? I don't know what is currently deployed. What is when the build or my changes in the code does have bugs inside and I have to roll back? Did I made in the UI that they say, okay, go there and download it before? Did I have done this? And maybe I made a change, say publish and upload, and I make some faults. Also, I have no approval that maybe my client can check it if the changes are correct. And this is the thing where a pipeline come into place. Before, we are talking about the workflow. The first thing is you have to think about how do you release a new change. I made here a short diagram. And this is what you have to think about. You have to talk with your client, you have to talk with your colleagues. How do you want to make it? So you have from Git, you have the main branch. And mainly for each feature request or for each change, you make a feature request or a pull request and merge it into the main. And then you have to ask, when should we ship it to a system? Should we ship it directly after we made the changes to the main, like in this diagram? So you implement the feature, you push the changes into the main, or you make a pull request and give it into the main, and should there automatically be a shipment to our environment, to our SharePoint, or is our workflow release triggered? So the typical case would be you implement multiple features, and as soon you have implemented the features, you say, okay, I make a label or I make a release branch, and after I make the release branch, I have to ship it. This is one thing you have to think about. How is your workflow? Normally, when I work alone on a SPFx project with a customer, I prefer this one, that I make a feature, I can test the feature on my development environment and say, okay, I've finished it, and I can commit it or make a pull request to the main, and then I give it, ship it directly to my environment where also the customer has access and can play around it. When it's a bigger team, you mainly go into a release management. So when you think about a product or you say, okay, we have to release it on a specific time, then you use this model more. So I want to show you directly this into the code. What does this mean in code? In code, we are talking about pipelines. Pipelines can be made very easy in SPFx because we have the SPFx toolkit. And the awesome thing is that you can here directly say, I want to have a pipeline, scaffold CI CD workflow. You can say, I want to have GitHub or I want to have DevOps. In my situation, I would use DevOps currently, and I'm application, and I want to do this. And I want to scaffold it first, and then I go the detailed steps together. What is in such a workflow? So we have it here. And what we see first is we have a trigger. This means this trigger says, when should the workflow start to work? When you think about the first slide we had, so as soon we have a change on main, the workflow will, or the pipeline will be triggered and will be executed. This means this one. And so this is the reason. When we have it in a release, then it would be a release slash star and would be the release branch, what we have. And then you see it very easy. It is that we say, okay, we installed the node package. Then, yes, we are here at 2.28. We have our gulp bundle, and then we have package solution that we have. And we have here the arguments ship. So we get a release. This is what was behind before and what we are used nowadays. And the next thing is we use the great M365 CLI, and we make and log in, and we make the upload. With this little change, the manual steps from go to the app catalog, say upload, and so on, we have automated. So how can we do the automation? So first of all, we need an identity that with this identity I can deploy. In my case, the identity called CI pipeline. And in this CI pipeline, I make a registration, add new app registration, I set some permissions. And here we have it directly here. You see it. In this case, I said sites full control. Yes, when you're in a productive environment, sites full control, the admin will not give you. You can use alternative sites selected. And with this, you go to the app catalog and give the app registration full control to the app registration. But think about for the app catalog, it's fine. When you have to deploy the solution only on a site, you need also site selected for this special site. And for the development environment, sites full control is fully okay. The next thing is I need a certificate. So the certificate is the easiest way to do with PowerShell. In the PowerShell, you say create a new certificate and you can export it and you upload the public key there. So now you have more or less an user created. This user is an app registration, and the authentication is not a password. The authentication is a certificate. So, and let's go to our 1.22. Again, only to see that we have a little bit change here. So when you go onto our pipeline, you see that we have it here already done. We use our node version. In this case, it's 1.22. And I have here a certificate secret file. In Azure DevOps, you can upload certificates. How does this look like? You go to our source code repository, you go to our pipelines, and you have here library. In the library, you have a section secure file, and there you can upload this thing. Yes, it's also possible to use it from a keyboard, but for demo purposes, it's easier to make a secure file and upload directly here. It's a drag and drop thing, so not big deal to do this. So the next thing is we download the certificate here and we use our npm install. This is nothing new. This will we do also on our computer every day when we clone a new repository. And then we say package solution. And there I made a little bit change because I'm not so good at typing. And so I extend the package solution exactly with this, what we have before. We say heft build. In this case, we make a production build and heft package solution. So as soon we execute this, we get our app package in the SharePoint solution folder, and here it is. And the next thing is in our pipeline that we ship it there. One case I made, or one change I made here, I have here variables. You see it here is a variable, SharePoint base URL is a variable, and the package name. I define such variables every time on top here. And the other thing is I give the variables in a group. Only to see it directly under the live system, I show it directly in my DevOps system. And here it is. I have different processes because I have different environments, and this is called a library here. And here the things are set up. I have the certificate password, and I have my Entra ID registration from the Entra. And this was it. The next thing is to use it and say in the pipelines. Let's take a look at all pipelines. I want to add this one, this pipeline, and let's take a look how it works. So this pipeline is running and says, okay, it checks out, it uses the npm version, then npm build, npm package solution, install it, and then we have the CL, M365 CLI. This will upload the app package here. And this is very cool because now you see directly what has happened. And we see also when we go back, there we go. Let's go there, the basic CI/CD pipeline. You see, okay, we have made here a change. It was yesterday. It took 1 minute to go there, and so I'm sure that which version is already deployed there, and it is under control. So the shipment is not a big deal because everything is in the pipeline. Let's try it. What has happened when I'm changing something? So I'm not happy with the headline in the web part. It is now live, and we save it. And yes, I don't make any pull requests currently. I can give it directly here and make live and sync changes. And as soon as sync this, I will see that our trigger is executed. Perfect, it's working. And we see that all steps are going here. The one thing is I have no problem to make anything here. I can go for a coffee and let the pipeline do the work. So it's no stress, it's relaxing. But I make here the build, and exactly after the build, I make the package and deploy it directly to our SharePoint app catalog. So here it is. We should see that it will come in a second here. And I can use it. So this process is very nice and smooth that I make a simple deployment to a system. But mainly, I hope everybody has customers. If the customers are also in the company, or if you have clients outside, they want maybe see the change before. And at this time, it comes that we have to take a look about environments. What does it mean, what I said? Um, I have a development environment, I have a test environment, and I have a productive environment. And so this is how the workflow would be. I want to have a build, then I want to deploy it to the test, and then I want to make it to productive. Because with one build, I have only one time that something can fail. And as soon the build is here, I can go to different environments. In Azure DevOps, as in GitHub, you make artifacts. In DevOps, it's called build artifact. In GitHub, it is release package. And so we have to modify our pipeline. Let's take a look how we can modify it, that we have in multiple areas, the deployment. So let's go to our very awesome demo. We go to multi-stage. I prepared everything, so don't waste time with typing. The only thing is I have here the path because I don't want that the pipeline will trigger everything. So the only thing what we have to change here is this little part. So we package the solution to productive, and then we say publish this artifact. And the next thing is in the deployment pipeline is we download this artifact and only run the environment task. So let's take a look how it looks like in Azure DevOps. I have a pipeline here. It is this one. I have here the multiple stages, and I say, okay, here I build it. I see that I have an artifact. In this artifact is also see here, it's published, and it's quite a little thing is I click it here and I can download it. So when I say I have a problem exactly with this version and I want to bring this to my development system, I can download it directly from as artifact and can check what is happened for the end customer. Why does the solution break and so on? And then we go to our test and production environment. I would say let run this thing and then think about what is the problem or what do I have the problem with this pipeline. So I make a small change and then change and sync this. What we see is hopefully the pipeline will trigger immediately. And the first thing is we see that we're building the thing. We see here also that I made a typing. It was the last commit with the change. I can go directly to the source code. Then I see what was the change. And this is really awesome when you think about, hey, before it was working, afterwards it's not working. You're completely in a version control. You have an overview and you know what is exactly on which environment. So let's see if the build is working as expected. It should be 1 minute that we have it here. And then it should go directly to deploy to test. Come on. And okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It takes a while.
Could this or something similar be implemented on other CI/CD pipelines, i.e., Jenkins/GitHub or similar? Maybe on
Perfect
on
question.
prem?
Yes, 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 yes. You can do it everywhere because what is a pipeline? A pipeline is only a scripted thing that you execute tasks. You see, okay, I use npm, but when I say, okay, I have here also bash, a script here, and I use it, and when I can do it in the terminal with npm install, I can do it. I can do it also as script. Then I don't have a special task. I have it here. So in every environment where you have this, you can do such things.
Perfect.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
and now we are going directly to the test. And what is so perfect? I have a test environment. I can say, okay, my client has also an Microsoft account. I can invite him as guest, and they can go to a page and use the web part directly. It's cool. But do you see the problem? What is now? Hey, we made it development to test, and then we go to productive directly. This is a mess because I have no control currently. And this is where environments come in. And yes, the wording is a little bit other. And here we have environments. The only thing what I have to do in DevOps is to say which deployment strategy I want to use. Here is the stage deploy to test. I have the variable group test, and here's the environment test. And with the environment test, I see directly here. And I can here make approvals and checks. And maybe I don't do it for the test environment because as soon I make a release or I make a commit, it should go to the test environment. Let's make it to a prod. It's a little bit more interesting. So the first thing I would do, or I would prefer or recommend, is business hours. So think about business hours. Yeah, here it's already Monday to Friday. I would say Monday to Thursday because make on Friday a deployment and make it in the afternoon. I'm sure that you don't need a coffee at Monday morning. So my working hours are between, let's say, 10 o'clock and 4 p.m. So, and then I can do this. So now it's only allowed that I can make a deployment between this time frame. And this is also to make it here because then I can be sure that nobody will deploy on weekend and or on Friday in the late afternoon. So, and the next thing is, and this is for me very important, are the approvals. So I want to have an approval before we deploy it because somebody has to test it. And in this case, I want to have it here that only when I approve it, the deployment will be started. So let's start it here. And the business hour we have to change because it's from the time so I'm here. And so let's go to our pipeline and let's make a change again, only to see how it is working. Yes, I give it something in the README. It's only for demo purpose to make this, and let's sync it. The pipeline will trigger immediately, and we see it here. Now, what is expected? That our deployment will go directly to our test environment, but will not start the productive environment. I have approval. And the good thing is, when you say, hey, I have a test environment and I have a productive environment, and you say, hey, I write the email, we have a new release, we have made this feature, please test it. You can add multiple stakeholders there and say, hey, they should check if the changes are correct in test. So don't test it in productive environment. Test it directly in the test environment, and only if it's okay in the test environment, you can ship it to productive. One thing I have to check again, because this is the pitfall. What I mainly do with the approvals is that if I'm allowed, yes, I'm allowed to make approve my own requests because I made the request. So This is the only check what I have to. Normally in environments, it's mainly not that the pipeline requester is allowed to ship to productive without permissions of another employee. So let's see it, how it looks like. It should be there. We see already we have our first artifact here. We see our package is already built, and we are nearly there. We are installing the app. So let's take a look if we see that we have it already done. Yes. I want to show it in the old because there I see that dates better than in the new UI. And we should see that is modified some seconds ago. Okay. A few seconds ago, you see we have it already updated it. And when we go back to our DevOps, we should see that our pipeline is waiting. It's not doing. We see it, it's waiting. And we have to review it. And you can make multiple endpoints to say here. What is a good practice? If you have, if you do it in this way, the stakeholders are involved in the process, and when production fails, you can say as a developer, have you tested this in test environment? This is the reason why we do a test environment. And when it's not okay, please reject it before we go to productive. And then we can easily say approve, and we see two passes is checked. The business hours is okay, and also our approval is okay. What if I would say I'm out of the business hours, it will take till the business hour starts, the deployment will take keep going on. So now you say, hey, this is a playground. It's only a web part. You don't have anything here. Let's jump to a real sample, because the web part are real nice, a simple web part, but mainly in my case is that we have it with API. So when you make it with an API, let's go there. It's one. And I was thinking about to make it a little bit interesting, and say I have here an chat. It's a chat that is a web part. And in the web part, I have here a configuration, and I say here I have an API URL coming from the properties. And my backend is also an Azure function. And in the Azure function, I have a semantic kernel in it, in the dependency injection. And this semantic kernel has multiple plugins, a time plugin, and is able to connect to Microsoft Graph. So when I do it in this way and I say deploy it, it's very common that it's the same workflow what we have already. We can use it here, and I see it here that I have a chat here. So I can here edit it, and I have here my function URL. This is the first thing. The second thing is when I have a key, then this will work. Or is it a public API? When you say you want to show weather data and the weather data have a public API, you can use it directly here. But mainly, we are talking about secure endpoints. So the endpoints are secured by Entra ID. And as soon they are secured, we have to make a little configuration in our SharePoint solution. And exactly this configuration looks like, so in this way, it's a web API permission request. This is how it looks like for my environment. And you see Okay, this one is an ID for an app registration, and this one is my API URL. This means what we see here that my backend is running on localhost. And this here. The thing is, I want to show it to you the app registration of an enterprise application. This one is here, and the app registration is chat. Here it is. So we have here our API permissions that our application is allowed to access calendar data and read user data. And we have also the API exposed. And this is the reason we have user impersonation as scope name there. And our SharePoint has to trust this app registration. And so it trusts our application. So what we have to do in our pipeline is when we are here, we have to change this thing based on the environment because this app registration is hosted in one environment. So it would work in productive and it would work in test, but we need different app IDs and the URLs mainly would be different. So what we have to do is to change such package solution here. This is my opinion how I do it. Normally, I check it in with our development environment that the app ID is here. So each developer goes into the README and can say, okay, let's start it with this. What is the minimal path of awesome? And you can test it directly in the M365 workspace. But as soon we deploy it to our environment, we have to change such things. And to make it easy for us, we made it in this way that we have additional um, packages, additional JavaScript files, and in the pipeline we call it directly and say, okay, here we set the environment variables what we get from the DevOps. So how does it look like in our app package JSON? In the package JSON, we extend this one. So we have here that we have here our API permissions and we have package solution prod. And here we are calling that we are setting the API permissions. So in the pipeline, we have to add here only one little part. And this little part is that we say we want to use it when we package the solution, we use it here. The thing is, what we have heard before, first we build it, we give it to an artifact, and then we deploy it. As soon we have enterprise API where we are working with the user token, we cannot do this because the manifest of the app package will change depending on the solution, on the environment we are. And so we artifact only the source code and we get here the source code as package, and then we build it directly for this environment. Let's take a look how it feels like in the DevOps. So let's go back to our DevOps, and this is our last demo, and I want to show it how it is working also. So this is our last one, and here you see that our last, we have here our artifact, and now we have here 5. The first artifact, I publish the source so that it is reproducible what we have done. And then for each environment, we make the build package, install it in our environment with the rules we have defined before. And then I publish the app package. Here it says, I publish the app package to our pipeline, to our artifact, so I can reproduce it. And for some reasons, I also publish some other files like package.json, so I can say if it was okay what we changed with the JavaScript files. So let's go there and see how it looks like. Let's go to our dev environment. I have here my chat and say um, what time it is. So, and hopefully our Azure function will call the semantic kernel plugin, and we have the time here. We can also say, do you know my surname? Perfect. And what we see is we are talking about, we make the graph calls, and the graph calls are on behalf of our thing. And the only implementation is that we have here the token thing. Come on, let's get the copilot away. I always is looking for one line here, chat service, and in the chat service, we make the complete magic, and we are calling this plugins, and this is the graph plugins. And in this graph plugins, we have the current user token. We exchange the user token on behalf of and call the endpoint me graph. So in the other way is I can ask also, can you give me all details and give me the first name? First name, and it's working. And what's, oops, and also the what's my calendar, my next meeting. Sorry, my next meeting. So it's easy. But one thing it's not so good to see is here we have here as a function URL, and so in this reason we have to change it. You have multiple things to change it. In the way is that we say, how can I have this one? One option is to say, okay, make a global configuration and say this is here for my process environment, and I can build it directly. This is one approach. And the other approach is you make the same what we have made for the API permission, only to write it here, only to be sure that we have this exact URLs and the things perfect aligned with our environment, because the URL is depending on the environment we are deploying. In test, we have a test URL, and for productive, we have a productive ADL and Azure function. And the thing is, this things are secured by an entry ID, and each tenant has their own IDs. And so we have to take care that we use the right IDs for multiple environments. And as soon you have it here, the only thing is get rid of the configuration parameter. For testing, it's okay. And you can say, okay, for this one, use the global settings. And ding, ding, ding. I would say it is URL, and we are finished. Yes. Perfect. Yes, applied. Thanks, Copilot, for assist me. And we have everything configured. The good thing is I can check in everything, and for the local development, I use the exact right parameters, and in the pipeline the complete magic happens, because we don't need to change quite a lot for every deployment, because all the knowledge is in the pipeline. There we say replace it. We set our environment variables here. This environment variables are in our DevOps, or in our Git, or in our Bitbucket stored, and they don't change quite often. It is in our library, and in this case, it's in our test library, and all these things are here defined. And so we have a single point. And when you think about you make it by hand, you have to copy for each release some of these variables into your source code as where after the fifth deployment, you will make an mistake, or you are thinking about your coffee, or and then you use the wrong IDs here. So automatic to make an automation to make it automatically happen is a good choice. So let's wrap up things. And I think I have to jump directly to the end. What have we here? We have built together and deployed the SPFx solution by hand. Then we use the first pipeline. We use the SPFx toolkit that helps us with CI/CD pipeline. Then we heard something about artifacts or releases. M365 CLI is your tool set to deploy it to SharePoint. You can also use PnP PowerShell. We talked about our environments, test, productive. We talked about approvals and condition when our deployments are okay. And then we have at the end build settings and configuration and properties, how we can do it automatically in our pipeline. All what we have done today is available on GitHub. I have in my GitHub repository a session repository, and there you find everything, the complete source code, excluding the client that is in there. You can start directly playing with that. You can use it directly there. I have two things there. I make one folder for Azure DevOps, and I make a folder for GitHub. And there is also the pipeline. You see also, yes, I use Copilot. I have instructions there because Markdown writing is not mine. So I have a prompt there. And here is exactly what somebody asked, is here is a run, and this means it make a script task, and the script task make, in this case, gulp build. So do we have any questions so far?
No, it doesn't look like it.
So then I say, let's go to ESPC. Give me a hug. I will be at the community area. I enjoy to meet people there. It's a pleasure to see you live on stage at Dublin.
Yeah, thank you, Peter, for a great presentation. So if you could just rate the poll, how you got on with the session. And yeah, on the behalf of the ESPC community, we'd like to send a big thank you again, Peter, for taking time out of your day to do this webinar. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much to be part of the community.
It was amazing presentation. Well done. So that's the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. Thanks again for all of you joining us today. I hope you join us again soon. Take care.
Bye.